In this video, I'll provide an overview of our research project for the course. So here we are on our homepage, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the research project here. And so here are the instructions for the research project for the entire semester. You'll notice that there are tabs up at the top here, depending on which part of the project that we're working on. So at a high level, what we're doing for the project is picking a city or region that you're interested in studying. So when you did the week 1 homework and I asked you to contact me using the Ask My Instructor link, you shared some locations that you would like to travel to someday. And I compiled as many of those locations that I could that had Airbnb datasets. So I'm going to go ahead and click right here, which will show you the Airbnb datasets that are available. There's a brief description here on where the data came from. So Airbnb is an online marketplace and hospitality services company that connects hosts or people that have homes and connects them to travelers, so people that want to rent or stay at these homes. It's one alternative for lodging as opposed to staying at a hotel, for instance. And so the data actually comes from a third-party website called Inside Airbnb. And they downloaded the data off of the Airbnb website because it's public. And so now we can, in our data, see what Airbnb rentals look like around the world, what kinds of properties there are, the pricing, the size, in what neighborhoods. And so there's a link here. There's a brief description on all of the variables in the data set. So when you open up one of these Excel files, you'll see lots of lines of data, and up at the top there will be labels to the different variables that we're examining. You want to make sure to click on this and download the data dictionary because this gives you like a code or cheat sheet on all the different variables. So you can see here on the left in this first column, when you open the Excel file, these are the variables that you'll see at the top of the page. So it's not always obvious what it is for. So that's why in the second column, I've provided a brief description. So for instance, where it says property type, I've explained that, in other words, this is just the type of property that the rental is. And so different types of properties you might see in your Excel file would be apartments and houses, even campers and cottages and castles, all kinds of buildings that are available for rent. In the third column here, I provided some comments or suggestions on how you might use the data. Now, this is not the only way you could use the data, but it's just an example to help you think about what you might want to do. And so, for instance, in the same type of property, you could narrow and focus on a particular type of property. Let's say I only want to look at apartments in Paris. Or maybe I'm studying another area like New York and I want to look at all types of properties. Let's go ahead and go back. So here are the data sets, and hopefully there's a city or location that interests you. And so you can pick from one of these options, and I might add a few more here and there in the next week or so, but this is for the most part the list. So let's go ahead and click back. And so the overall goal is to come up with a business idea that we can open up in a particular city or region. For instance, maybe I want to open up a bike tour in Montreal, Canada. And then we'll use the Airbnb data and analyze it to help understand our market and support our business to be successful in that region. You'll notice that for our research project, all of these parts here are actually done through the discussion boards first. So I've broken up the assignments and put them into the discussion boards where you can brainstorm with your peers before you actually have to submit the research project components. So after each discussion board, you'll just take the feedback that you got from your peers, and then you can copy paste what you posted and edit it to be professional, to include the ideas and feedback from your peers, and then submit it as a business memo. So for your first part of the project, this is actually your proposal. So you'll write a 1 to 2 page single-spaced business memo with the following items. 1, you'll identify which city or region you want to study and why. So it can be a personal reason like family lives there, or you've always wanted to travel there, or more of a business reason because you know that area is popular for a particular activity or business. Secondly, you'll identify a specific business idea that you intend to use the data set for. So for instance, you might want to open up a coffee shop in New York, and you want to explain why this is a good business idea. And then the third part of the assignment is that you'll identify variables of interest that you might want to study. So recall I mentioned that data dictionary. You need to open that and read through and look at what variables might make sense to analyze. You should also open up your Excel file and take a look so you can get some inspiration on the different types of information available in your city or region. Now, I'm not actually asking you to analyze any data for this first part of the project. I just want you to brainstorm some initial thoughts. You can always change it later in the semester as you dive deeper into the data and decide that you want to study a different variable. So this is just some pre-planning for part one. Now, the last thing on the business memo is that you need to identify secondary sources to your topic. So you'll likely go to Google and do some research about your city or about your business idea to get additional support on why you want to study this place, or perhaps population data or the popularity of your business idea around the world and different trends. And so there's a template to the business memo. And then if you click here, this actually takes you to a page where I've got different examples for all the different parts of the project posted. I'll be hyperlinking these with the examples shortly. So as I mentioned, the first part of the project is your proposal, and then I'll give you feedback on it to let you know if you can go ahead and move forward for the rest of the semester on that idea and that location. Now, as the semester progresses, the next part will be part 2. I'll go ahead and click on that. That's descriptive statistics. So after you've picked your location and business and I've approved it, you'll start to clean and organize your data and create some descriptive statistics that you learned how to do in chapters 2 and 3 regarding charts and graphs and numeric measures. In part 3 of the project, you're going to apply your learning from chapters 5 and on in the semester, and you'll be working with inferential statistics and doing hypothesis testing. In part 4, you're going to put everything that you did in parts 1 through 3 together in a PowerPoint presentation with recorded narration. Now don't worry, I'm going very high level right now because this is just an overview video, but as each of these parts are due in the semester, I will provide a detailed video explaining each component. Now if I click on part 5, this is where you'll get into groups of 4 and you'll watch 3 other students' presentations and provide feedback on how they can do better and what they did well. And then in part 6, you will write a reflection on what you learned from the project, what corrections or changes you would make based on the feedback you get from me and your peers, and how you achieve the student learning outcome, as well as how you'll use the skills from this project in the future. So notice that in all of these parts, I have a link to examples. It just takes you to that one page where all the examples are posted. So take a look at those and just note that they're good examples, but not perfect. You want to make sure to read through the instructions carefully and make sure you hit each requirement. And whenever you have questions with the project at all, please let me know.